realm of comic books and movies, vigilantes are often depicted as heroes, meting out justice where the law fails to reach. Characters like Batman and Spider-Man have captured the imagination of millions, serving as symbols of hope and the idea that one person can make a difference. However, the romanticization of such figures starkly contrasts with the reality of vigilantism, where actions have real and often severe consequences. This dichotomy sets the stage for our exploration of Jason Vukovich, known as the Alaskan Avenger, whose life took a turn that mirrored, in the grimmest sense, the vigilantism celebrated in popular culture. Jason Vukovich's story is not one of comic book fantasy, but of real-life tragedy and complexity. Born on June 25, 1975, Vukovich's early life was marred by challenges that would later influence his infamous path. Growing up in Alaska, a state known for its breathtaking landscapes and formidable isolation, Vukovich faced personal demons and societal failures that eventually led him down a dark road. Unlike the fictional heroes adorned in capes and masks, Vukovich's actions stemmed from a deep-seated desire for retribution, fueled by his own experiences of abuse and a perceived failure of the justice system to adequately protect the innocent or punish the guilty. In June 2016, Vukovich took matters into his own hands, targeting registered sex offenders in a series of attacks that shocked local communities and sparked nationwide debate. His methods and motivations force us to confront uncomfortable questions about justice, vengeance, and the line between right and wrong. As we delve deeper into Vukovich's life and the actions that earned him the moniker Alaskan Avenger, we'll explore the nuanced reality of vigilantism, its consequences, and how society reconciles the allure of fictional heroes with the complex morality of real-world justice seekers. Jason Vukovich's journey to becoming the Alaskan Avenger is a tale woven with threads of personal tragedy, societal failure, and a profound sense of injustice. Born on June 25, 1975, in the rugged and remote landscapes of Alaska, Vukovich's early life was far from the idyllic wilderness existence one might imagine. Instead, his formative years were marked by abuse and neglect, elements that would significantly shape his outlook on justice and retribution. Early life and struggles. Vukovich grew up in a challenging environment where, according to court documents and personal testimonies, he was subjected to physical and emotional abuse. These experiences, at a young age, instilled in him a deep-seated anger towards those who prey on the vulnerable. The scars of his childhood did not fade with time. Instead, they festered, influencing his perceptions of right and wrong, justice and injustice. The transition from victim to vigilante did not happen overnight. Vukovich's life was a complex interplay of personal vendettas and a broader critique of the criminal justice system, which he perceived as fundamentally flawed. His frustration grew over the years, fueled by stories of sexual offenders seemingly evading the full weight of justice. In Vukovich's view, the system was too lenient, allowing predators to live among unsuspecting communities. It was this combination of personal trauma and systemic disillusionment that set the stage for Vukovich's eventual actions. Yet, despite the hardships, there was little in his early life to predict the vigilante path he would take. Vukovich's descent into vigilantism was a dark testament to the impact of unresolved trauma and the desperate lengths to which some will go to seek justice on their own terms. By 2016, Vukovich had reached a breaking point. Armed with the Alaska Sex Offender Registry, he embarked on a self-appointed mission to confront those he deemed had escaped true punishment. His actions, though violent, and unlawful, were driven by a misguided belief in vigilante justice, a belief that he could right the wrongs of the past and protect future generations from harm. This quest for justice was not born out of a vacuum, but was a response to a life filled with pain and a society that, in his eyes, failed to protect its most vulnerable. Vukovich's transformation into the Alaskan Avenger highlights the complex interplay between individual trauma and societal failures, raising questions about the limits of the law and the dangerous allure of taking justice into one's own hands. In June 2016, Vukovich executed a series of attacks that would forever change the lives of his victims and mark him as the Alaskan Avenger in public consciousness. Using the Alaska Sex Offender Registry as his guide, Vukovich targeted individuals he believed had evaded true justice. These attacks were not random acts of violence, but were motivated by a deep-seated belief in righting the wrongs of the justice system. Each confrontation was a deliberate attempt to impose what Vukovich saw as a just punishment for the crimes his victims had committed. Vukovich's methodology was both calculated and personal. He chose his targets from the public registry, drove to their residences, and then confronted them with their past crimes before physically assaulting them. These actions were intended to serve as a form of vigilante justice, meted out by Vukovich as judge, jury, and executioner. The impact of these attacks was profound, not only on the victims themselves, but also on the wider community. Vukovich's actions sparked a nationwide debate on the nature of justice, the effectiveness of the sex offender registry, and the moral and ethical implications of vigilante actions. For some, Vukovich was seen as a hero, taking a stand against individuals they felt had not been adequately punished. For others, his actions were a dangerous and unlawful overstep, highlighting the risks of individuals taking the law into their own hands. Following his arrest, Vukovich faced the legal system he had criticized, charged with assault and burglary. The trial and subsequent sentencing would serve as a critical moment in Vukovich's story, providing a legal reckoning for his actions. Vukovich's trial was a focal point for many of the debates his actions had sparked. During the proceedings, the complexity of Vukovich's motivations came to the forefront, with discussions around the impact of his childhood abuse and the perceived failures of the justice system. Despite these considerations, the court ultimately sentenced Vukovich, underscoring the legal principle that vigilante justice is not permissible within the framework of the law. The case of Jason Vukovich prompts a deeper examination of vigilante justice, particularly when juxtaposed with the romanticized version seen in comic books and popular culture. Comic book vigilantes operate in a world of clear moral binaries, where the actions of the hero are unequivocally on the side of good. However, Vukovich's story illustrates the moral ambiguity and real-world consequences of taking justice into one's own hands. This section will explore how societal perceptions of vigilantes are shaped by media and the significant differences between fictional heroes and real-life vigilantes. The ethical and legal ramifications of vigilantism are complex. While comic book heroes are celebrated for their fight against evil, real-life vigilantes like Vukovich face legal consequences for their actions. This contrast raises important questions about justice, morality, and the role of individuals in enforcing the law. Jason Vukovich, known as the Alaskan Avenger, embodies the troubling and complex intersection of personal trauma, societal failure, and the desire for justice. His story forces us to confront the uncomfortable realities of vigilantism, challenging the simplistic narratives offered by comic book heroes and popular culture. While the desire to right wrongs and protect the vulnerable is universally understandable, Vukovich's actions and their aftermath remind us of the critical importance of adhering to the rule of law and the principles of justice. His story is a poignant reminder of the need for a justice system that not only punishes the guilty, but also addresses the underlying social and systemic issues that fuel the cycle of abuse and retribution. In delving into such complex and thought-provoking stories, my aim is not only to inform and engage, but also to build a community where these discussions can flourish. My channel is dedicated to exploring the intricacies of human nature, the darker sides of society, and the quest for justice in all its forms. Your engagement and support are what make this journey possible. If you find value in the content and discussion, I kindly ask for your help in growing our community. By commenting on the videos, subscribing to the channel, and liking the content, you contribute significantly to our collective exploration of these profound and sometimes unsettling topics. Your insights, opinions, and engagement are not only welcomed but greatly appreciated as they enrich the conversation and bring diverse perspectives to the forefront. Together, we can continue to delve into stories that challenge, educate, and provoke thought, fostering a space where curiosity and critical thinking go hand in hand. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to your contributions to our growing community.